It's really funny. We actually started this thing out of a small conference room in the middle of San Francisco. My name is Arnold Her. I'm the COO and co-president of Gen G. Gen G is generation gaming, so the idea was, we really wanted to pay homage to really the generations that came across esports, especially when we have such strong roots in Korea. Across all of our teams, we always try to make sure that we're able to actually bring up the next generation of talent, right? So we're always doing that, whether it's in League of Legends with our academy team, Overwatch with our contenders team, Valorant with our, the tournaments that we run, that we partner with Galorants with, and everything else. That's really important to us. So that's a really key differentiating competitive factor. In Korea today, we have an incredible education business where, kids are coming in to get trained up, whether it's somebody that just wants to get better at the game or somebody that's actually trying to go pro, right? We really have a top to bottom education focus. In the US, we have the Gen G Foundation, where we actually award scholarships to try to make esports and gaming more diverse, right? And so I think both of those things and our commitment to education, along with our university partnerships, I think that's a really important piece that fits in really well with the esports that we're in, how we're focused on talent development, and what we want to stand for across the industry.
My name is Andrew Leverett. My in-game name is Blank, and I am the general manager here at Gen G.
I am Matthew MC Elmore, and I am currently the head coach of Gen G Valorant.
My name is Nikki Barker. I own and run the Galorant server, which is a 10,000 all-female server, where we run and host tournaments in collaboration with Riot Games. And then I'm also the talent development ambassador here at Gen G.
I was never known as a mechanically talented player in CS. I had a lot of cool ideas. I was a decent IGL, decent support player, and I overachieved for my ability level. But it was always my mind for the game and stuff that was so much better than anything else. So it was a very natural move for me to go into coaching. There's definitely times that you miss playing and whatever, but that part of my career is gone. I think I'm a much better coach than I was a player.
I actually started out playing League of Legends. That was my very first game. As I said before, it's like a toxic ex that I just keep going back to because I love the game. I've played it religiously for years now, and when Valorant came out, I was like, oh my god, let's try it out. I'm a big Riot Games fan. Why not, right?
When we look at a game, we look at kind of our strategic fit. Does it really fit us? Can we fit our education and talent development side with it? Is it make sense for the region that we want to develop, as well as is the player base there, as well as who's the publisher, what kind of publisher support will they build, and what kind of ecosystem will they build? And I think Valorant was one that was really obvious.
I mean, I think it's exciting because of the whole Riot aspect. I'm a huge League of Legends fan. I love watching, when Worlds comes around. I like, different teams that I won't name because they aren't Gen G. I don't watch a lot of Gen G's League team. But I love League. I've always loved League. I played it a little bit, but again, not very good. I enjoy it. They have some of the best casters, production, everything in the world. And it's genuinely impressive.
Valorant in itself is very new, and that gives you a lot of wiggle room to figure out what you want to do here. Because it's so new, it gives you the opportunity to create a scene that wouldn't necessarily be able to be created within like an older game, let's say like League of Legends, right? It's damn near impossible to do it there. But Valorant as itself is so new, and there's so many girls willing to compete and that want to, that it helps you drive that force and allows you to create what you want to create here. And that's the beauty of it. It's new, there's wiggle room, and you've got competitive players. Now it's just creating the space for them.
We like the fact that Riot was so supportive of building the right ecosystem, that it wasn't just featured on the top 0.1% of players and pros. They actually cared about how do we actually increase the number of women in the game, right? How do we actually hold tier 2 tournaments so that people that are just getting their feet wet and starting their competitive careers can actually have something to do and actually build a sustainable ecosystem, right? That's really important. We could tell that there was a real team and competitive focus around the game that got us really excited. And then strategically, we thought that this was the best game for us to really center in around in North America as one of the pillars of our strategy of expansion in North America.
The wall play, they drop it, but he can't get to it in time. The shots come through, and the breach ult turns him into a toaster, and it's only Crashies left alive. He roasted them inside of B, and that is the game. GG, Gen G pick up the win, and they are your T1 NSG Valorant Invitational champions.
I have met exactly none of them. I was going to say, I think I've run into Kusta, but I don't think I have actually.
I'm Michael DeLuca, also known as Mikel. I play solo for Gen G, and I come from Quebec. I've been signed to Gen G for about a year now, and it's been very awesome to meet everyone in the staff.
My name is Danny Nguyen. I am 26 years old. I live in Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
So I'm Anthony Dumont-Lavoie. I signed with Gen G at the end of I think during the pandemic. Valorant came out, and we signed with them. Probably one of the first teams with TSM.
My name is Kenneth Kustas Win. Play for Gen G Valorant. I'm from New York. I was born in New York, and that is all.
My name is Sean O'Reilly, and I go by Sean12590. I've just been grinding Valorant ever since it came out, and it looks like the hard work paid off to end up here, so.
Hi, I'm Carly. In game, I also go by Carly. I play Valorant for Gen G. I live in Illinois.
Hi everyone, my name is Hannah. In game, I also go by Hannah. I play Valorant for Gen G. I live in Los Angeles.
Gen G look to hang on and find double digits.
They have Hunter Shuri.
5v5 on the retake. The paranoia goes through all 5 members. Sabrosa cuts down 2 inside Garage. Wardell to find another, and this could be it. As Kusta hops up, Sabrosa finds a 3K on the round. Make it for the Hunter's Fury as the cherry on top. And TSM closes out 2-0 fashion.
Yeah, that was going to be so tough in that retake with Hunter's Fury available.
I mean, I think it's difficult. You know, what do you consider us? Do you, like, I don't consider us a top 3 team. I don't consider us a top 5 team. Even with the Masters performance, we showed what we could do. But I think we've been on the edge of the tier 1 scene. We've been gatekeepers. Even when I've been here, we've been gatekeepers. That, you know, the Cloud9 loss was, when we lost to them, I think that's the worst match we've lost since I've been here, in terms of a ranking on a team or whatever. And Cloud9 is by no means a bad team. So it's like we're still beating everybody we should be beating. Some of those are closer than they should be at times. But I think we're a borderline tier 1 team, if not a tier 1 team. We're definitely like, you know, top 8, top 10-ish. I think the goal and what Gen G wants is you have to push for top 3. I think that's going to be incredibly difficult, solely because the game is so young. You don't know what players are good. 6 months from now, a year from now, you saw when Overwatch happened. You know, a lot of those guys in the early game are nowhere to be found.
So the type of players that we're looking for to build the team that we make are new girls who are interested in competing, but have competed at a top level prior, but aren't sure how to really get their feet wet. So we're looking for driven players that want to compete and have the drive to compete and improve within themselves and within a team setting.
I view our place in this is, of course, we need to build winning teams, but we want to do it the right way, right? We want to build it piece by piece. We know the scene is changing all the time, and so we needed to make sure that we were continuously building the right team, that we're giving them the right opportunities. Whether we make every choice and it's correct or not, like, who knows? But you know, I really believe in the core of the team, and one of the things that we noticed as the Valorant ecosystem grew was that it wasn't good enough just to have a coach that's also a GM and everything else, right? We just needed more support because the level of competition was increasing so much, right? And so for us, we wanted to make the move where we bring in somebody that could full-time focus in on being a coach, right? And having MCE available, I was shocked. You know, I've had so much respect for the guy ever since the Chaos days. And so having him and his mentality, his work ethic, how he approaches the game, that was a no-brainer for us. moving Blank into, a bigger role where he's actually able to think about not just how do I win the next game or the next map, but how do I also make sure that we're building the right team for the long run.
I think Matt and I were kind of in agreement coming out of Masters 1 that like we had definitely peaked at the right time. But I don't think either of us necessarily thought that it was sustainable, like long term, the way we were like kind of approaching the game and like our comp and stuff with that 5. And then kind of going into Masters 2, it just pretty much like there was such little downtime between Masters 1 and Masters 2. So after having such a good result in Master 1, we were like, let's keep grinding through this, keep everything the same. But Masters 2 kind of highlighted what I was thinking, and I believe Matt was thinking as well, that that was our peak with that 5, and that we probably needed to make some changes heading into stage 3.
We didn't hit our peak, we didn't get close to it, and our inconsistencies really started to shine. And about that time, I decided, we needed to change. And unfortunately, the first course of action was with Danny, and so we had to bench Danny.
Ultimately, I mean, this is something that probably maybe a lot of the owners won't talk about, but we're all thinking about, hey, as the league evolves, are we going to be one of the top teams, right? Are we going to be a team that matters, right? And you can't just focus on the next map. You have to figure out salaries are going through the roof, transfers are going through the roof. How are you picking up the right talent right now so that you're building that right team instead of just expecting to spend millions of dollars on the next buyout, right? And I think, we have the right approach. I think we're bringing in the right talent at the right time. And we've been very lucky to have had incredible players, whether they're on the team now or whether they're off the team. Like, I've been really excited by the quality of the people that we've brought on.
If you've been following Gen G Valorant, then we jumped into the scene by picking up a full French-Canadian squad. We had Effie's Player 1, Wen, GMD, and Michael. We don't have all those guys anymore, but they've all been pretty instrumental to where we've been. We won 4 or 5 tournaments early in the start. The guys, 2 days after we picked them up, they went out and won the biggest tournament to date in beta. And they really put like Gen G on the map in Valorant. People still know Gen G in Valorant just because of those guys. And Danny was a huge part in that. Danny moved from, I think when we first picked him up, he was playing Sage, and then he went to Sova, and then ultimately landed on Jet, where he like really thrived. But just because Danny is not with the team anymore doesn't mean that he wasn't super, super important in building our foundation and kind of getting Gen G Valorant off the ground.
There are a few players like Danny out there. I truly think he's going to be a very successful player. I wish him the best of luck, and I told him, the problem was not Danny in its entirety to change him. I mean, the kid, it was one of the hardest moves I've made in my lifetime in terms of player cuts or whatever, because Danny's just a genuinely great human. He works hard. He's super nice. He never rages at anybody. He tries to keep mood up. And you saw when he comes through, man, like he is a phenomenal player. But when he's missing, it definitely affects us. Obviously, he's going to be successful. I have no doubt in my mind he'll be successful with another team once he gets to it.
And I will legitimately be terrified to play against him when he's on Jet. Because like Matt said, when Danny's hot and he's hitting his shots, he's a scary man.
A huge part of Gen G is making sure that our players focus on their own personal goals within their own lives and not just competitively. We really want to make sure that they're getting the resources to succeed in not just school, but in competitive play and wherever else they end up.
I think we're focusing on a culture fit over necessarily a star player or someone who can just come in and frag, but it is maybe a little quieter. But we're really trying to look at players who have the right personality and not just someone who's a mechanical ranked demon.
I love the mechanical demons.
We do. Don't get me wrong.
I think more than anything, we need somebody that's a actual leader, more of just a alpha type personality in general that people can look up to in times. And obviously, wishlist is you have a guy that is a IGL style player who's also a Sentinel. I think finding somebody that fits in is super important because it's going to help the team in the long run, much more than just finding one of the guys off the top 5 ranks.
I have a lot of faith that we're going to build the right team. Of course, you can never 100% predict competitive results, but I know we're a good team, right? And I know we have the potential to be great. So I'm really excited to see us build the team in the right way.
We're going to have the Valorant guys over there, and this will be for activation, and this will be for coaches. So we got Andrew, Matt, Nikki, and we need to get the monitor stands up from behind there. We got about 3 weeks to get all the computers set up, to get all the monitors set up, turn on power, make sure everything's working, doing stress tests with the network, and get all the conference rooms set up. Because even starting next week, we're gonna have staff coming into the office and using this place full time. So this place is about to get hopping, and we're already, I'd say close to 50%, and by the time people start coming in, we'll be at that 85% cusp rate here within the US staff and with players and with content creators. So now that everyone's getting vaccinated, everyone's starting to come back to the office, and this is about to be a busting spot. So it should be a lot of fun.